conversation with Dayo Israel. I thought my light was going to be better than this, but I'm sure that you can see me. It's a great day and it's a good evening. This is the first time we're actually coming on at this time of the day, and it's because we have a special person. You know, special people always do special things. He's the Commissioner for Special Duties for Lagos State and Intergovernmental Affairs, a seasoned engineer, and a civil servant who has risen to the highest rank in the civil service as a permanent secretary. He served in many of the challenging ministries and retired in the Ministry of Work in Lagos State. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the current Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs in Lagos State, Ms. Engineer Bamgbose Martin. Honorable Commissioner, good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. Congratulations and happy 1-year anniversary.
Thank you.
So, Honorable Commissioner, I want to start from an interesting perspective. When I was researching about you today, I saw a story, and it was a story about how you did not make the first list of commissioners. And the said person said, I still have the story on my screen. It says, big names who failed to make Sanwo-Olu's cabinet list. I know the feeling that comes with. What was your reaction at that time when all of this was happening? How did you respond to this?
Dayo, honestly, you shouldn't be asking this because you say you know. You say you know the field. How would you feel if you know the field? Then you tell us how it feels. Tell us now. Tell us how would you feel? Would you feel happy? Tell us.
No. So I will tell you my own experience, sir.
I know.
When the first list came out, because I served on the transition committee, people expected that I was going to be in the cabinet, but it wasn't even my expectation. I was in the strategy team, I was on all those other teams, so there was expectation of my behalf. So when it didn't happen, people were calling me, they were counseling me, don't worry, maybe on the second list and all of that. And on the second list, my name did not come out again. People were feeling sick on my behalf. But we thank God that we are where we are now.
Dayo, you know, you and I,
yes, sir.
We work together in the strategic committee. We work together in the transition committee. Yes, we've come a long way. So I understand exactly what you went through, how you must have felt. And it wasn't different. For me, it was just the same thing. You know, it was the same thing. But, you know, perhaps I can add this, you know, because I can say there was a slight difference in the sense that, you know, we are part and parcel of this administration. We have been part of this administration even before it came into office. Even before the current governor became the main flag bearer of the party, we've been together. We've been working together, brainstorming, different sessions and all that. So, you know, by the time you've done so much of that, and we have become one family, I'm sure you remember, we have become one family, and, you know, and we have become we have become very passionate about, you know, the blueprints and the work we had done. So we felt that, look, one way or the other, if we had an opportunity to be part of those who would implement it, not necessarily to be a commissioner or to be where you are, you understand, but at least one way to be able to influence the implementation of what we had come up with, it will be a wonderful opportunity. And it's understanding, you understand, to feel like that. So when, like you said, you know, you don't see your name or I don't see my name, I mean, it's scary. There's no joy. There's no joy.
Absolutely.
But it's not the end of the world. Perhaps I can add to it and say that, look, I think I was a little bit luckier than you in the sense that at the time most people don't know that by the time the list was coming out, the first list was coming out, the current governor had already engaged me in a
committee.
Exactly. I was already in a committee, very important committee, project auditing and stuff like that.
Yes.
Very important. In fact, the job was so tedious that we didn't get to finish the job until maybe early this year. Do you understand? So I was so when my name didn't come out, I never saw myself outside as an outsider. I was still engaged. I was still working for the administration. Do you understand? Maybe in another
capacity.
To an extent, mine was a bit different from yours, So, but that's it.
And I think so. The overall lesson for all of us. I think there's a speaker from your side that is making a lot of feedback.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to sort it out. Is it better?
I think so. Yes, I'm not hearing feedback anymore. No, I'm still hearing feedback.
You are? Okay, hold on. Let me take it. I think I should just take it off the speaker. Hold on. Dayo.
Yes, sir. Okay, I think it's perfect now. Perfect. 100%. Yes, I think another lesson from it, sir, is perseverance and also expectation. The scripture says, cast not away your confidence, for it has great recompense of reward, and that the expectation of the just will not be cut short. And so I think one thing is that sometimes when we pray for something and we don't see that thing materialize yet, we must never lose hope. There's one thing, oh yes, I remember. There was one thing that kept me going in those periods. And it was, I think, in the book of Galatians. It says, do not be weary in doing good. For in due season, you would reap your reward. In due season, you will reap your reward. So I think for me, that was and that's the lesson. Yes, sir, the word in due season. And I think that's what people at home must learn. They must understand that you might not be where you want to be. You may not be what you have. You may not have what you have hoped to have. But if you don't give up, it will come in the long run.
And that's exactly what happened. I didn't give up. You understand? I didn't give up. I worked in the committee. I joined the committee. I did my best. I gave my best shot. If you remember, I came in the third list. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I guess the third list was God's due season. Do you understand? And honestly, I feel very privileged and opportune to be entrusted with such a position. And I take it as a... Go ahead.
Commissioner, how does it look? You've served in the civil service, so you were the one that would take the file for approval to your commissioner. Now you are now the honorable commissioner. How different is the experience? How is it different from you moving from a civil servant to a political appointee now?
Do you want me to be honest?
Yes, sir. be honest, but let's also. I don't want them to take this on the radio tomorrow. I hope it's not something that the journal, because they listen to this a lot and they take it out. But I would love your honesty.
That has been easier for me.
Wow.
It's made it easier for me. I think it's an advantage.
Yes.
Being an advantage, the fact that I've been a public servant before, I had risen to the level of permanent secretary. I had already worked with commissioners, and I understood, the process. It made it easier for me. I think it would have been different if I hadn't had that knowledge and experience, that background. Just coming in fresh, maybe as a politician or a technocrat or whatever, and coming in as a commissioner. It's not the same thing. You still have to navigate your way through. Still have to understand the system and all that. But I didn't have to do that. So it's made it easier for me.
And you are in charge of a very critical ministry, which covers a lot of things such as safety and well-being. After health, and also, of course, education, one of the first things that is also important, and of course, commerce, but around those areas is health and safety. So when we look at safety, your agencies cover the Safety Commission, it covers LASEMA, it covers the fire service, and all of that. As an engineer, as your experience helped you to be able to do differently in these particular areas, and what have you brought on board so far?
Yes, it has. In specific terms, the Ministry of Special Duties, is responsible for safety and security. So it's not safety alone, but also security.
Security.
Now, security. Now, for the safety, clear, it cuts across, really. Just like you said, it cuts across even up to Ministry of Health. It cuts across practically everywhere. Do you understand? Schools, education, tourism, works, infrastructure, and all that. Because we have safety issues everywhere, in all industries, in all sectors. So our job cuts across every ministry. And but the good thing is that we have some agencies that deal with this directly. Just like you said, we have LASEMA, that's the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency. We have the Safety Commission that deals with it, and we have the Fire Service also that deals with that. Clearly, the Fire Service deals with the fire prevention and firefighting, including rescue. The Safety Commission is responsible, first and foremost, for advocacy. They do a lot of advocacy in town, publicity, enlightenment, ensuring that the people are kept abreast of more modern safety habits and all that. Then LASEMA is the agency that more or less coordinates these people, including that part of the Ministry of Health that deals with safety. For instance, the Bamgbose, the ambulance service, LASEMA coordinates them all as first responders. When there's an incident, we have LASEMA be everywhere. They are everywhere. Within LASEMA, for instance, LASEMA, you'll be surprised, LASEMA actually has ambulances. LASEMA has fire trucks. LASEMA has
an helicopter.
Yes, that's right, an helicopter. Even they have some boats. LASEMA, you see, they are more or less ready for any emergency under any circumstance. Because as a first responder, most cases, LASEMA is the one that you will find them. Even when there's a fire, LASEMA is there. Do you understand? So they
like when there's a truck, when a truck falls down.
Exactly. And we have a lot of that happening around it, trucks falling down, all these, those ones carrying diesel, PMS and all that, spilling everywhere. So, LASEMA has heavy duty equipment that they use to get this things off the road. The ministry also has the neighborhood service under it. Perhaps we're not going to come. And that's where the issue of security comes to play. The neighborhood service.
Is that the Neighborhood Safety Committee, LNLC? Is that the one?
Yes, Lagos Neighborhood Service Corps. Well, you see them all over the place in uniform anyway. And theirs is community policing, really. And it's more of information gathering. They don't carry guns or arms and all that. But, they deal more with intelligence gathering, information gathering within the community. They are like the first recipients of security information. And they more or less interface between the community and the police. So when they get information, they get alerts, they alert the security agencies appropriately.
That's amazing, sir. Since you got in there, there's been a lot of fire challenges in particular. There's been 2 fires in Balogun. What is the real cause? Why is there continuous fire incident in the market area, in that area in particular? And what are you doing differently to be able to curb that?
Let's take the Balogun incident. Let's start with that. The Balogun area, it's clear. The only reason why the fire incidents keep happening there is because of the practice, the illegality that is being done there.
Perpetrated.
If you go there, you just need to visit the place before you see what we are talking about. Generators are hung all over the place. You have generators even on the rooftops. There's a haphazard use of generators, uncontrolled use of generators, and the habits, the behavior of these people. We've done so much in trying to enforce, get rid of generators and enforce. But the moment the enforcement agencies, especially through the CBD, the Central Business District, but the moment they are off there, they go back to your way. So, most of the fires that you heard, the incidents that you've heard that have happened there, have happened as a result of generator use. And these things are still there. And some of those buildings that you see there have been converted from their original use. And inside one building, you might find out that you have numerous traders, numerous businesses that are being transacted there. So in one building, a building that's probably meant for just 2 or 3 types of businesses, the whole building has been taken over by maybe like 10, 12, 15, and all that. And every one of them has their generator. They have generators. So this is danger, very dangerous. And so that's why that is happening there. Yeah, you were asking, what are we doing about this? There's enforcement. Safety Commission is there. ASEMA is there. And then we have the CBD. So there's enforcement. We will continue. And we also enlighten them. We've been holding some stakeholders meetings, where we invite them. You see, you don't just want to pounce on these people and enforce without necessarily letting them understand why you are doing it. So they keep perpetrating all these things, but then we won't stop enlightening them, engaging them in stakeholder meetings.
I know that NYSC is also covered by your office. You also put them in placement in government offices. You're in charge of management in terms of the government. What is the status of the permanent site of the NYSC? I understand the Ipaja place is not their permanent site. What is the status of the permanent site? And what is the progress of that?
Yeah, there's a site that has been located, and that's in Agbowa. It's very large. It's a large parcel of land. It's huge, very large, huge enough that it can take practically everything that a proper camp should have. The situation is that we have the land. The situation is that we have secured it in the sense that it's been identified. The beacons are there. It's been handed over to us in terms of allocation. We have visited the place. We keep visiting the place. We have a few challenges, but nothing too serious. Few challenges like you find out, some encroachment here and there, but we can deal with that, and we are dealing with that. So essentially what we're doing is we're working with the Sovereign General's office, the lands, the fiscal planning to ensure that the place is secure, fully secure. Then we've started working on the plans, the designs, preliminary drawings and all that. But whatever we come up with in terms of draft has to be in compliance with what the NYC itself approves. So we work with them to ensure that it complies with their specification
guidelines.
Specification. Yes, they have these things. They've set them, and it cuts across every state. So even if you want to build a camp for them, it has to follow those guidelines and specifications. We've got that far, and I'm very hopeful. You know, like I always say, I'm a hopeful person, very positive minded. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that this year we will be able to start doing clearing of site, and then maybe like some kind of fencing to further secure the place. But sometime next year, you know, because our plans initially were different from what is happening right now. But you know, the COVID times has changed a number of things. Budgeting has changed, plans.
Yes.
So therefore, naturally, we just have to adjust our own plans to flow with the budget adjustments. So what we are looking at now is just doing those few things, and then hopefully by next year we get an approval to award for construction.
Excellent, sir. Before I move on, because I have a lot of questions to ask you, one of our audience, Adijoke Adibanjo says, can the Honorable tell us why coppers serving in Lagos State have not been paid their monthly allowance? Perhaps maybe for this month, I'm not sure. Is it something you can comment on?
You see, the way the question is being asked, it gives the impression as if the government is not responsible. That's not the situation. You know, the coppers have never been owed monthly allowances. You know, never been owed monthly allowances. But there was a problem. We had a situation in the nation all over the world where everybody didn't go to work. People didn't go to work.
Yes.
It was for some time, maybe for almost about a month. Now, even within that period, that was the period that afterwards a few of us started going to work and then dealing with some of these backlogs that we had.
Yes.
There was, in specific, to answer her specifically, there was a backlog of about 2 or 3 months, I believe. And this was just because of the pandemic.
The coronavirus.
That's what, you know, but this has been dealt with. One of the months has been paid. The second one, I know, has also been paid. So it's the last one that we are dealing with right now. I mean, give us
So, Mr. Adebanjo, the government is saying we've paid 2 out of the 3 months. You were all aware of what is going on at this. So, as much as the government is willing to do their part, is also asking for families or couples to also be patient with the government. Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner, for that response. I want to go quickly to your career in public service. But before I do that, I want to ask, I know you just got into the ministry before the coronavirus, so you haven't really done enough. But what would you consider the achievement of the ministry, not just under you, but since the governor took over? What would you consider the top 5 achievement of the ministry under the Babaji Olushola Sanwo-Olu administration? What has BOS administration, either through you or your predecessor, done in the last 1 year for Lagosians to celebrate? 1 or 2 or 3?
I'll give you 3. 1.
Yes.
Don't forget there was an incident at Abule-Egba. Do you remember?
Abule-Ado or something.
No. I'm talking about the Abule-Egba, the one that happened. The Abule-Ado is recent.
Yes.
It's recent,
yes.
And that's the third one. Abule-Egba is the first one that happened. The explosion, the pipeline explosion. Remember?
Yes.
It was under this administration. Can you see the way it was dealt with by this administration?
Yes.
The displaced persons, families, have been taken care of by the government for the last 6 months. In fact, we have messages from all over the place of how they've been treated. Do you understand? Then we had the Amuplank market fire incident. And then the most recent one. We've had other ones. In general terms, there have been so many incidents, emergency incidents all over the state. And this administration has been up to par in dealing with those incidents. The most recent one is the Abule-Ado. Yeah, it's actually in Soba community. It's Abule-Ado area, but it's Soba community. Most people call it Abule-Ado, but it's actually sold by community. That was a horrible one, a very horrible one. You can see the way the government reacted. See the way the governor himself reacted. He was not around. He flew back from Abuja. He went there immediately. On the spot, he set up the committee. On the spot, set up emergency relief fund. On the spot, he made the first contribution. Since then, we have been working under his directive and guidance to take care of the situation. And we've been making progress steadily to get that place back to normalcy. It's a lot of challenges. Challenges of being able to plan the area, take care of the family of those people that lost their life. Unfortunately, there's been fatalities, unfortunately, but then they have new families, console them, try to give them some kind of support, both financially and psychologically, to help them move forward. There was a school that was affected there, the Bethlehem school that was affected there. The government is in the process of relocating another place to rebuild. These things aren't easy. It's not just about the money or the fund that the government is spending, but it's also about the approach and the manner to which the government deals with those challenges.
Excellent. I just got another comment from someone that says...
Sorry, just a moment. Let me add to it. There's been fire incidents everywhere. In fact, the rate of fire has been tremendous. Fire incidents all over the place. So I must say at this point, the role that has been played by the fire services in the last 1 year has been tremendous, in terms of fighting fire all over the place. And Dayo Emmanuel.
Excellent. I have a few questions from our viewers. One of them says, sir, after serving in different ministries and retiring in 20, okay, I think I'll skip that one. What was the first project you did where you became commissioner for special duties and international relations? I think, let me match two questions together. Another one says, in your opinion, which public policy or administrative practice has had the greatest input on intergovernmental relation in this administration?
Come again. Can you repeat that question? The last one.
Yeah, it says, in your opinion, which public policy or administrative practice has had the greatest input on intergovernmental relation in the past 1 year?
By Lagos State or by federal?
I think by Lagos State. But if you just match that to also, your first project was commissioned. These are some of the questions from my audience. I think if you have a pen, if I just see if there's any other one that I can take. It says, overall, how would you characterize the current state of LASEMA and Lagos State Safety Board? I think if you start from there, how would you characterize the current state of LASEMA?
The current state?
Yes.
Okay, now it's improved from the last administration. That's the administration before this one. It's improved. The changes, the airship has changed. The structuring has changed. One of the first things that the governor did was to bring back a previous headship that was there during the time of the Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola. This one is a very dynamic officer. This is one of these best officers that we had, that under the Ambode administration had to leave and he went to the federal. He performed credibly, wonderful in Abuja. So the governor did one of the first steps he did was bring him back to restructure the place and get the place going on. Ever since then, he's been everywhere. So I can tell you that that's an A on that side for the current administration. That's in terms of LASEMA. Now, in terms of policy, our policy really is not so much about we know these emergency situations will come, the fire incidents, the explosions and all that. But our policy has been more of an approach of prevention. We should concentrate on prevention and against fighting, dealing with the
yes,
incidents. Now, prevention in the sense of advocacy, enlightenment, and this is one of the policies that has been established. And there's so much concentration on it. There's hardly anywhere, in all the agencies that we have that this isn't being done. There's so much publicity, advocacy, enlightenment. It's been done in ASEMA, it's been done in safety even the fire service is involved. Yeah. There was one more question.
Oh, okay. I think your first project you did when you became commissioner.
It's not a project. It wasn't a project. Let me tell you what happened. Now, I resumed as a commissioner. The day I resumed as a commissioner, the next day, I had to deal with the fire incident at Martin Street. That's what I had to deal with.
Wow.
That's what I had to deal with. There was no breathing space.
Wait, can I ask that? Martin Street, is that related to your family? Because I know you're also from Lagos Island.
Yes.
Maybe that was a welcome for you there to say come on and all of that, because you were equipped to come and solve that problem. And we hope that during your tenure, that fire issue in Lagos will come to almost zero by the grace of the Almighty. We can only but pray for you. Amen. In that regard. Adeomi says, having served in the public service for 33 years, what is your biggest lesson you have learned in the process?
In the process, patience, perseverance, commitment, integrity.
Patience, perseverance,
commitment.
What was the third one? So I lost you for a second.
Commitment.
Commitment.
And then
another question from one of our viewers. Integrity. COVID-19 has affected all sectors in the government. Do you think a rapid recovery is possible?
No, not rapid. It's a process. It will be steady. It's even dangerous for it to be rapid. So it has to be gradual. Sensibly, it has to be gradual. Do you understand? We had a life before COVID. Now we are getting to the point, there was COVID time, then we're getting to the point of life after COVID. The question is, how do we get back to where we were before? Where we were before, was it the best? Was it the best of practices, habits? Do you understand? So we must have learned some things during these COVID times. And we need to ensure that what we've learned that are positive, we begin to apply them even as we go back into our normal life. And it's a process. It's not going to be rapid. Nobody should kill himself. It's not going to be rapid. It's a process.
Absolutely. Let's talk about youth. You have a very strong passion for youth. You're on the board of the Smile Initiative, which has been doing a lot for young people. As a matter of fact, I have someone here who gave a comment about you. Says, that's my last PS works. Yes, I can confirm to you that he's a lover of youth and game player, nicknamed Mato Matete. Is that right? And loved by all because he treats everyone equally. That's some of the testimonies from some of our viewers who are talking about your work and your passion and your excellence. So my question is, in terms of youth development and youth empowerment, where do you see this generation of young people going with the kind of government and society that we have today? And how can we rescue the youth from vices?
Okay. I think the first thing that I would like to say is, to express my appreciation. Thanks, to the people who've used some very nice and kind words for me there. I feel very appreciative of what's been said of me. It's quite encouraging. For me, it's just a humanitarian thing. It's a thing that you need to treat people the way you want them to treat you. And you need to respect people, even as you expect to be respected. And it doesn't cost you anything, honestly, to be nice, kind to people. It doesn't cost you anything. And that's one of the things that has dictated my personality and my life. And that's probably what is playing out in those words. But I'm very grateful to you all for what you said. Now, talking about the youth, the youth is the future. It's the future. The adults, the elderly will expire, and the youth will take over. And there will always be youth. So the importance of youth cannot be overflowed or overemphasized. I have a passion for youth development because I have been privileged to have received good and effective mentoring from certain people. In my life, I had people who mentored me, who gave me direction, who helped me through so many things in life that has made me who I am in terms of character. And therefore, it is important that every one of us, we must therefore do the same thing. It's like a baton, like a relay race. As you receive the baton, you run the race, you hand it over to someone else. So you must bring up those that are coming behind you. Who are those that are coming up behind you? They are the youth. It depends at what level you're talking about. So I believe in mentoring. I believe in mentoring. And that's the key for me. That's the key. Every youth must be able to identify certain people, good mentors, people who can mentor them, people who can guide them and direct them. Life has changed. The world has changed. As we're moving on in life, the way things were being done thousands of years ago isn't the same now. And it's not going to be the same thing in a couple of years to come. So it is possible that even during the process of mentoring, we as adults and those that are here, we could even pick a few things, even from the youth, learn a few things, and be able to understand what we don't know, even in that process. So it's like a give and take thing between us and the youth. But it's necessary for the youth to understand that they have to be patient to learn. They have to be patient to understudy. It is when you understudy a person very well, you get positive things. You gain value from that person. And with your own brilliancy, intelligence, capability, you can even be better. And that's the whole idea. For you to be better than those that are ahead of you, for the you to be better than us. So for me, mentoring is the key. Mentoring of the youth. And it needs to be done by everybody. While the youth themselves must recognize that Rome was not built in a day. There's a process in life. You can't just become a millionaire or a billionaire. Yeah, there's a song, I want to be a millionaire. Is it a billionaire?
Billionaire. I want to be a trillionaire.
You want to, Dayo, don't worry. But you and I know that you have to work. You have to work hard.
Yes, absolutely.
It's achievable, but you have to work hard. There's a process to that. Rome was not built in a day. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely. Before I ask you about how your ministry is going to contribute over the next 3 years to the vision of a greater Lagos, I wanted to find out who inspired you to go into public service when you were, in the civil service at the first instance.
Nobody. Nobody. Was my
Not
error.
because
Did you hear me? Did you hear me? My error.
yes, I do.
You want to hear how I got into the public, how I got myself into the public service?
Yes, sir.
It's interesting. I was a youth corper, all right, then. And there were these people who came to our station to interview youth corpers. In those days, they would come, they will interview, different states, even the federal government, they come, they interview for those who want to join the public service, because there will always be an allocation, that would for specific. It will be based on numbers. It will be based on state of origin. It will also be based on state where you're serving and stuff like that. So they came on this particular day, and I went there. When we were just hanging around and all that, and then we saw this woman, this lady then, that was talking to. There were quite a lot of. There was a crowd, and I went there and I asked, "What's going on here?" They told me. They said they came for interview process to interview the youth corpers, those who want to join the public service and all that. Well, I just left because my dreams were different. The truth is, I thought I saw myself. Let me tell you, I saw myself working in the likes of Julius Baja, the Strabag in those days, Soler Bonnet of those days, Schroeder, and stuff like that. And I said, okay, after a couple of years, once I've done that, I'll pull out and then start my own construction company. That kind of thing. That was the dream. Dayo. But so that day, I saw this woman. After a while, I moved away, and then I saw her from a distance. Dayo, you need to see the way she was talking to youth corpers. Oh, she treated them terribly. Terribly. She spoke to them anyhow. She was so disrespectful. She just didn't care. It was a case of, well, you want job. So, she was just talking to them anyhow. And I didn't like it. One thing with me is that I've always been bold right from childhood. And I speak my mind. Politely, though. I won't disrespect you, but I'll speak my mind. So, after a while, some of us felt irritated and upset at the way she was treating them. Do you know that I approached her? I went up to her and I told her, I said, "Mom, can I see you, please?" I said, "Me?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I stood in front of her and I said, "Ma'am, but why are you treating us like this? Why are you treating everybody this way? Why are you doing this? This is not fair. It's not right. The fact that people want to be interviewed and looking for a job doesn't mean you should treat us like animals and disrespect us." And you must say, "Talking to me?" I said, "Yes, I am. Because I think what you're doing is wrong." Anyway, let me summarize it quickly on that. She walked away. But the truth is, she didn't like what I said. But I think she processed it. And then you know what? I noticed that it's changed. She adjusted. And then after 1 hour or thereabout, I was still busy around, just hanging around, doing my own thing. And then she calls me. I say, "Hey, you." And then this time I say, "Who, me?" She said, "Yes, you. I want to see you." So I went to her. I said, "Yes." She said, "Who are you?" I said, "What's your name? What's your name? Where are you from?" She said, "Why are you not part of this interview?" I said, "I'm not interested." So where are you from? I said, "I'm from Lagos State." She said, "You should be part of this interview." I said, "I'm not interested." She said, "Okay, I want you to join." I said,
"It's not the path I want to follow."
I said, "Oh, you want me to join? You are insisting I should join so that you can deal with me when I come inside there because of what I said." Aduma said, no, I give you my word. I'm not going to do that. I said, "Okay, I'm not even dressed for it." I'm not prepared. She said, don't worry, forget about that. Anyway, that's the rest is history. That's how she got me inside that place. Dayo, I never knew that was going to be the saving grace because I was busy running around trying to get the Julius badges and it never worked out.
Wow.
So whatever God wants you to be, that you will end up.
So we can call you accidental public servant.
Exactly. Yeah, but that's how God wants it, you know. There's been no regrets.
But if you look at it,
yeah, you were going to ask me something.
The civil service of that day, the civil service of those years, it doesn't seem it's the same thing. Do you still have those values in the civil service today as it was before? We heard that back in those days, a civil servant will sign the letter and say, yours, faithful servant. But now it's a see when you go to some ministry offices, they just tell you to sit down, you can get delayed for hours, your file is not moving. What went wrong, sir, along the way? And where is the future?
Dayo, it's not like that.
No,
it's
I don't mean Lagos, so I mean generally. I'm not talking about Lagos.
Well, I can talk, I'll talk about Lagos. I'm not going to talk generally. I didn't work in generally. I didn't work in all those other, but I worked in Lagos. So I can tell you about Lagos. I'm very proud to have been a public servant in Lagos. I'm very proud of the Lagos State Public Service then and even now. Dayo, it's not like that in Lagos. But by the way, it's not your faithful side, it's your obedient servant. Not faithful side, your obedient servant. And that's part of the things that you are taught, you are trained to be like in the public service. You are trained to be disciplined. You are trained to be humble. You are trained to hear, to be seen, and not to talk. You have to listen. Do you understand? It's what we call it public service. Do you understand? So first and foremost, you see yourself as a public servant, as a servant to the public. You render a service. And for God's sake, you are being paid from taxpayers' money. So you need to render. These are the kind of things that were imbibed in us at that time. And we're trained to be modest. Modesty in all things. So I must tell you that I don't have any regrets ending up in the public service because it remolded me as a better person. It remolded me, as a better person, more disciplined, more modest. Well, is it okay if I use the word humble for myself, even though I shouldn't? Honestly, I feel like it has helped me so much in that area. You understand?
But is that the same across board, sir? Is that the same across board?
In Lagos State, it is.
Yes.
In Lagos State, it is. In Lagos State, it is. In Lagos State, it is. Well, without saying too much here, there could have been times in the history of the public service, when maybe under certain, administrations, leaderships, and administrations, you may find a bit of, retrogression, relapse in those kind of areas, but overall, we all, the public service has a way, is structured in such a way that it rises up to the occasion as soon as a new leadership comes in that can lead the way and set the way along this, the path that we're talking about. So, and that's just the truth about it,
In terms of your intergovernmental relations, what kind of opportunities have you brought in on that or as your ministry? Because it'd be unfair to judge your performance because you just literally got in before the COVID crisis came up. So you haven't had time to show the stuff that you're made of, the excellent material that you are. But what has your ministry been able to do in terms of intergovernmental relations? You're responsible for dealing with federal government bodies and agencies. What has the ministry attracted to Lagos under the BOS administration?
Well, since the time I came in, I hadn't been able to do much of that, except what I've been able to do is more or less to coordinate with them, introduce myself, invite them over, and try to understudy and understand exactly where they were before I came in. And you see, because I do not, I'm a very systematic and strategic administrator person. I don't, I plan. I work on plan. Do you understand? I work on plan. I understudy the situation. After then, I evolve planning. When I come up with a plan, then I begin to implement in line with that plan. That's the way I work. So for me, when I came in, my idea was first to invite these people, contact them, visit them, and also be able to come up, and then start a process of being able to evolve a plan or a strategy. Are you still there, Dayo?
Yes, I'm here, sir. There was a network interruption. Yes, I'm here, sir.
I noticed that. Okay, so in that area, I hadn't been able to do much. But in the area of restructuring the agencies, that a lot is happening there. A lot. In fact, it's just because of the COVID, almost 2 months now, that we've been held back. By now, we would have had what I call a roadmap for a new fire services. The type that suits and fits into the themes agenda of this administration. The type that one would proudly say making Lagos a 21st century mega. The type that falls under that last part of the pillar, the S, security and governance. So we are evolving a roadmap, and we've almost done with it. It's going to be a fire service, a restructured one, an agency that everyone will be proud of. The type that would respond faster, promptly to emergencies, fire incident emergencies, such that our response time will be reduced. The issue of lack of water, shortage of water, we can deal with those things. Those things will be dealt with. So that's what we are doing currently in terms of fire service. And then all the other agencies too, we are evolving roadmaps. And I can assure you one thing that is certain is that by this time next year, we would have started implementing most of these are our plans. But for the intergovernmental relations, not much has been done in that area. The COVID hasn't helped even on that either. But the truth is this, we have so much to deal with, even among ourselves here for this state. Do you understand? Before we begin to sort out all these other, because we have the code of conduct, we have the NDLA, you understand? We have NAFDAC. Do you understand? Those are the kind of places we're talking about in terms of our collaboration with them. Yes, we still collaborate with them. But for NYSC, we don't joke with NYSC. NYSC is priority. We don't joke. I work.
Is that because you got into the civil service through the NYSC?
All of us did NYSC.
I said, is that because you got to
all of us did NYSC now? I think it was a good idea about the fact that you have to do NYSC before you get into the public service or get an employment, because then there's no way that you will not have some level of compassion for the NYSC. It's a natural thing, except you never did NYSC. If you did NYSC, you participated in it, it will be priority. So NYSC is a priority, when I talk about it.
Absolutely. Finally, Honorable Commissioner, I would like to hear one of your story about any of your experience with the governor. Is there anything? Can you tell us one of your funny experience with the governor? Like maybe something His Excellency had done around you or with you that you just laugh and say, "Oh my God, this man." We always have every of our guests tell us one of their funny or interesting experience with Mr. Governor. That reminds us that he's also a human. And he can be a very, very, very human person.
No, he's a cool guy. Honestly, he's a cool guy. He's a real cool guy, and he's not There's no gainsaying in that. I'm not being, sycophant, in what I'm saying. But he's a cool guy. We have a governor that is a cool guy. He's very cerebral, very cerebral. You understand? And at the same time, you and I know that he's really soft in the heart. He's a soft-hearted person. But you said then you wonder how would a soft-hearted person be a governor? You get it? Yeah, but it's possible. At least we are seeing it that he has a human heart. And do you remember this incident? Since you're asking for an incident, I'm going to remind you. You remember that incident when we were having the presentations? Do you remember when we were making our presentations? And I was exactly, and I was the team lead for the T. The T.
Yes. Traffic and transport management.
Yeah. And I had to present along with the commissioner now of transport.
Yes.
We did together. You remember that day that as I was presenting, that I tried to remember as I was presenting, and then, and the guy was just, I'm talking about the governor, he was just, before I say this, he said it. Before I say the next one, he said it. And I was looking at him. This man, you wouldn't even let me present what I'm presenting. And you know what? You remember that he said, I know what you're talking about. I know. And then, do you remember that what I said to him? I said, Mr. Governor, I know you know this thing now. I know. Please, let me even shine. Let me shine. Yeah, man, shine. So remember what he did? He said, okay, zip. He's a very nice, very jovial, easygoing person. Honestly, very easygoing person. He's a wonderful person
for you.
Pardon me?
And that's why that's BOS for you, and that's why a lot of people love him and rally around him because he has a sincere heart for Lagos. He has a sincere heart for whatever he does. One of my experience that I will never forget was it was the last day of transition, and then he was going to be sworn in on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. So this was the Friday when we were closing off the office in Ikoyi, Kingsway Road, and after we took the picture downstairs and everybody went back, I went into his office and Michael was there, everybody was there. And then a course came, now CBS, and said, our people here to mobile you are, he said, how much are they asking for? He said, they are asking for this price. I negotiated to this price. And I said, that, leave them now. I want to ask jail. And when he said that to me, I felt this is someone who thinks about other people.
Dayo, he's always been like that, honestly. It's not just because he's governor now. This is him. That's who he is. Some of us have been fortunate to have known him even before he became governor. This is who he is. I think we are lucky to have
a governor like him. Absolutely. And today we celebrate that tenacity. We celebrate everybody who have played a role in Mr. Governor's success and victory at the election, from those that were in Oduduwa, who were working tirelessly and ensuring that they push for the Jide Sanwo-Olu's victory at the poll and victory of the party APC, and all the people that worked in Awolowo, those that worked in Molina, those that worked in all the various areas, Maryland, and all the various support group, and the strategy committee and strategy team, those of us that worked in Judges and ECO and all of the other areas. We want to celebrate our continuous and collective success, and we have no doubt that this administration will bring about greatness for Lagos under the leadership of Mr. Governor. Engineer Dayo Bamgbose, thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. Your final comments, sir.
It's simple, Dayo. We've been entrusted with a very huge responsibility. Just like you said now, you just thanked so many people for ensuring that victory and getting us to where we are. If he hadn't made it as governor, Dayo, you probably wouldn't be there. I probably wouldn't be here.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? So we thank everyone. But then the issue is this: we have a huge responsibility in ensuring that we do not fail. That at the end of 4 years, Dayo, we must not disappoint those who have worked hard and stood by us. Do you understand? We need to justify the mandate and the trust that has been given to every one of us. We have work to do, and we must not relent in it. I am committed. I'm ready to play my part, and that goes for you and every other person.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Part of the team. That's my last and parting statement.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. To our collective victory, toast, and God bless you. To all our viewers who are watching live, and to those who are going to be watching the video on YouTube later and on Facebook later, I want to say a big thank you for your data and for your time. You know, until Saturday on CovInspiration, we're celebrating the vision of a greater Lagos because we are passionate of the sincerity of heart of the man on the driving seat. And we know that it means the best for Lagosian. We want to say big thank you also to all the team and staff in the office of the Honorable Commissioner who have waited and made sure that everything is working well. Can I especially recognize Mrs. Tinuade Ayegbusi, the Deputy Director of Information, who has also helped to make sure that the Honorable Commissioner is comfortable and set up all the equipment with our team over there. We're very grateful. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner, for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again. And have a great Democracy Day tomorrow and on June 12th. God bless you.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.